What is underrated? The word. What does it mean? Because underrated, overrated, and overhated are all really interesting terms to me because everyone seems to have different definitions as to what they mean. For example, I am very careful about whether I use underrated or overhated because, you know, if a movie has like fucking 500 million ratings or some shit, that's not an underrated movie. Now, underrated, does that mean amount of ratings or the average rating is too low? Because to me, if the average rating is too low, that's overhated. But what if it's like a 5? I still consider that overhated, even though it might not necessarily be hatred, right? Because under or over disliked doesn't really have the same ring to it. Overrated is also interesting because I don't personally like to call things that are really influential and important overrated because I don't know how that could be overrated. How can you, overestimate? How can the consensus be too high if it is astoundingly influential, right? Like maybe I don't like it as much as everyone else. Maybe, and that doesn't mean that their opinions are more valid. Doesn't mean that it's objectively good or anything like that, but I don't see how it can have too many ratings if it's like one of the most influential works in its medium. You know, maybe you could say it doesn't deserve to be so influential, but I don't know. I feel like in most cases that's just not the case. Like when people say the Beatles are overrated, the Beatles fucking like made pop music good pretty much. Like if you look at like the 1950s radio charts, pop music was terrible. It fucking sucked ass. It was really really bad up until the Beatles came in and then suddenly everyone started stepping up their game. Now, does that mean that the Beatles were one of the most original bands ever? No. But they introduced a lot of things into the mainstream and they are instrumentally important in music history. So even if I don't like the majority of Beatles albums, I can't say the Beatles are an overrated band. To me, something being overrated would be like, I don't know, a fucking some new. I'm trying to think of like a new album that came out recently that I thought was really overrated, but nothing's coming. The new Ethel Cain album. We'll do that. I think the new Ethel Cain album is overrated. I don't think it's that good. I think her last EP was way better. That's to me that is what overrated it. I would not call something that's really influential overrated. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about on this. How do you guys use those terms? Interested to hear. Daily videos, IBM, let's go. New main channel video coming. It's happening. I just recorded it and I'm gonna edit it tonight. Bye!